I've made a perfect manager in FM24. Or I would have done if it had been clear what being a perfect manager actually means. So first, we need to find that out. So what I've actually done is made 3 different managers in FM24 who are all perfect in their own little way. That's what their mother told me. The triplets are back. Let's see how they get on with managerial careers. And there they are. Huey, Dewey and Louie are back, but this time they are managers. And as you can see, they're managing 3 very different football clubs because I have a theory and I want to test the theory. We're doing science again today, boys and girls, because there are 2 schools of thought about what would make a perfect manager in Football Manager. The most obvious one, I guess, is give them perfect attributes. Give them that 200 out of 200 current ability and let them fly. But the other side of that is, who's going to give them a job? If they've got to, unless you also give them perfect reputation, they're not going to get a job no matter how good they are. They're never going to get the opportunity to prove themselves. So we've also got perfect reputation. And I want to see which one of those is more important. So the 3 managers that we've got, we have Huey. Huey is your typical perfect manager. If we have a look at his staff details, you can see his current ability is 200 out of 200. Interestingly, maxing out at 200 out of 200 on current ability doesn't give you perfect 20 out of 20 on all of the different attributes. But I assure you, as you can see in the in-game editor, and we had to turn the editor on so I could double check that I wasn't losing my mind, he is definitely a 200 out of 200, but has a reasonably low reputation. He's going to be managing Peterborough Sports. He has a reputation appropriate to Peterborough Sports. All 3 of them, by the way, based on Pep Guardiola. So all of the little like mental attributes that don't go towards the ability thing, they've all been based on Pep Guardiola. So they're all Guardiola clones, just with different levels of current ability and different reputation. So Huey has the perfect ability, but the lowest reputation and the lowest starting club. He is going to be managing Peterborough Sports in the National League North. Then we've got, if we have a look at the next side, their surname's Wonderkid, by the way. Okay, it's Huey, Dewey, Louie, Wonderkid. So Louie is going to be managing Peterborough United in League One, and we've given him in the middle attributes on everything. So his current ability is roughly what a current ability for a League One manager would be. His reputation is roughly what the reputation for a League One manager would be. So theoretically, he should only ever be a League One manager. We've already locked him in at the maximum of his potentials for these. So his ability won't get any better. He's never going to be a better manager than he currently is. But we are also freezing his attributes, so he's never going to get worse either. So Louis is forever ability-wise going to be a League One manager, but of course his reputation can change depending on how he gets on the pitch. And then the final Wonderkid manager is Dewey, and Dewey gets the big job initially. He is the manager of Manchester City. However, his attributes, they're not great. They're kind of slightly lower than the level you would expect, for example, a Peterborough Sports manager to have. So theoretically, he should not be good enough to succeed at Manchester City. He does have the potential to get a little bit better, but he'll never be as good as his League One counterpart. But he does have an absolutely maxed out reputation. So he's the manager of Manchester City. He is the highest reputation manager in the world, even though he's rubbish. The experiment, who's going to have the best career? Are the other 2 going to make it to the top to manage with Dewey, particularly Huey, who is attribute-wise the best manager in the world? So you would expect him to have a fairly rapid rise to the top if ability is what's actually important when it comes to a manager. If reputation is what's important, you would expect Dewey to have a long and successful managerial career despite not being very good at actually being a football manager. And as our little control, we would just expect Louis to have a career as a kind of average League One manager. But if he gets a little run of form and a reputation boost, does he go up? If he gets a reputation drop, does he go down? If he drops down divisions, does his higher ability mean he'll overperform in the lower divisions and underperform in the higher divisions? I don't know the answer to any of these questions. I'm interested to find out. Let's see how they get on in their first season. Of course, before we do that, YouTube engagement and all that, let me know down in the comments which one of the 3 managers do you think is going to have the best career. We will judge best career based on number of trophies won over the course of their career. If they don't win any trophies, we'll do it based on earnings. So the Man City guy does get a little bit of an advantage early on because he's already earning more money. But initially, trophies is how we're going to judge who's the best manager. Well, we're 1 year in and straight away, 2 of them have lost their jobs, which is interesting. The one who's kept his job is Huey, the one who had the best ability to begin with. Huey is still manager of Peterborough Sports. Peterborough Sports, who finished, hold on, they finished 8th. They didn't get promoted. So he's taken them to 8th place in the league. It doesn't seem like he's wanted by any bigger clubs, but at least he's not been fired. They have given him a 1-year contract extension, so he is still in a job. Let's see how the other 2 got. I can't believe the other 2 got fired. I didn't expect it to be that conclusive that quickly. So Dewey is the guy who started at Manchester City. He lasted 287 days at Manchester City before they've sacked him. They finished, if we have a look, they finished 4th because of him. So this is a Manchester City team that obviously usually would just win the Premier League. But this is, can we show last season's stages? I don't think we can. But we can see that obviously they finished well off the pace. If we have a look at some of the results that he got as a bad manager at a big club, you can see convincing defeat against Arsenal. I mean, it's not that they were terrible. They weren't losing loads of games, but they were just off the pace, which for Manchester City isn't ideal, I guess. Did he do any transfers? He signed Rafinha from Barcelona, Upamecano from Bayern. So he's done, in fact, no, these are the transfers this season. Last season, he signed nobody. Really. He got Rafinha on loan. He did sign Victor Osimhen in January. I think he was still there when Victor Osimhen arrived. I would question the need to sign Victor Osimhen when you've already got Erling Haaland. But, I mean, that's probably why they fired him. That would be my guess. So he got sacked... got sacked 13th of April. So they gave him most of the season. When it became clear they weren't going to win anything, they gave him the boot, which I guess actually 13th of April, they've let him go as soon as it became clear they couldn't win the league. They've sacked him then, which I think is probably fair. He did win 2 cups, though. He won the Club World Championship and the UEFA Super Cup. So he has got a couple of wins. I mean, he's officially in the lead then, isn't he? Because he's won 2 things. I maybe should have had some slightly better criteria for him. Louis at Peterborough, he got sacked. Where did Peterborough finish? So they finished in 14th place, which is really, really, really poor. He only made it to the end of October before they sacked him. So that is somebody who theoretically, they've reappointed Darren Ferguson, which is probably the most Peterborough thing I've ever seen in Football Manager. I love that. That is genuinely incredible that they've given Darren Ferguson the job for the 19th time in his career at this point. But poor old Louis hasn't been offered another job since. And his current ability should be the same as Darren Ferguson's. Or even slightly higher. So he's got a current ability of 125. If we compare him to the manager who's replaced him, Darren Ferguson, he 118. So Louis actually a better manager, but did get fired almost immediately and hasn't been offered another job. He does have the reputation of a League One manager, though, so you would expect Louis to find another job. You'd certainly expect your guy from Manchester City, Dewey, you would expect him to walk into another job relatively easily because his reputation is still likely to be quite high. Probably not perfect anymore. His reputation has dropped from 10,000 down to 8,000 after that poor performance at Manchester City. He has slightly improved on his current ability as well, gone from a 50 to a 65. FM25 on that. So he's getting slightly better. The world thinks slightly less of him. Dewey can't win, can he? Let's see if either of those two find a new job. We've got another year on, and they're now all unemployed. How do people normally do these? I create a perfect manager saves and not have them just be unemployed. What on earth have I done wrong here? So Huey was at. That's weird. So he resigned as manager of Peterborough Sports after mutually agreeing to part ways with the board. So they didn't fire him. He resigned without a job to walk into. They finished fourth. So he actually did really well, got them to fourth place, has resigned, but not to go and manage somebody else. He's just decided to leave. And I don't know why. You would expect him to get another job. He is still a perfect manager. His reputation is slowly but surely increasing after a couple of decent seasons with Peterborough Sports. I would expect him to find another job. Did either of the other two work in the meantime? So if we have a look at the other two, so Louis, no, still only got the Peterborough manager's job on his CV, and Dewey, still only Manchester City. So neither of those have found another job. Does that affect reputation? Not working? His reputation's actually increased, Dewey. I guess he got a job as a TV pundit. His reputation's started to go up a little bit again. You would think there's another job in Dewey's future, surely. Louis, though, I do worry for. But it seems like I was wrong to worry about Louis, because a year on and Louis's the only one who's got a job. So Louis has been given the job as manager of Colchester. So Colchester, who are a League One team, and Louis is a League One level manager. So this is exactly the kind of job you would expect him to get. When did they give him the job? He's had this job for 230 days. So he's done most of the season with Colchester, and they finished 15th. To be fair, they were freshly promoted out of League Two. So I guess they came up, did quite poorly. They had Gary Monk as manager, who went on to manage Plymouth. So, okay, so they probably came up and did quite well. And then Louis tanked them, bless his cotton socks. Maybe Tiki Taka isn't the one in League One, but at least he's still got a job. He's held that job for longer than he held the Peterborough job for. Huey still hasn't got another job, having just inexplicably walked out on Peterborough Sports, which makes I still don't understand why he left. And then Dewey, Manchester, I just want to see how his reputation's changing. His reputation continues to increase. He's actually getting better as a manager despite not doing any managing, which is, I don't really know how that works. I assumed current ability, you would actually need to be in a manager's job for that to change. But no, Dewey is proving that year on year, he is getting better at being a manager, and his reputation as a manager is increasing despite him not having a manager's job for over 2 years. He is doing incredible work on TNT Sports instead of Michael Owen, I imagine. So another year on, and they are all unemployed again. How long did Louis manage to last at Colchester? He did a little while. Bless him. Louis was there for 333 days before he got sacked. So that's the second sacking of Louis's career. Things aren't really going very well for him, are they? 2 jobs, 2 sackings, although he is the only one who's had 2 jobs so far. But he's not lasted a year in either of them. Lost his first one because he lost dressing room confidence. Lost this one because of poor league position, and Colchester did end up getting relegated. So it really hasn't gone very well for Louis. Huey still hasn't got himself another job. I am baffled by him. Dewey still doesn't have another job, but presumably he's still just getting better and better at everything. Yeah, I mean, Dewey is hosting Match of the Day at this point. I don't know. Another year gone, they're all still unemployed. Another year, I genuinely don't know how to make somebody hire them. Dewey, in particular, has such a high reputation. So, hold the phone. He's had secret jobs. Secret. So they're unemployed when I check in once a year in the summer, but Dewey's had 2 more jobs. He's managed Mansfield and Solihull Moors. So his career is crumbling. So he was sacked by Manchester City in 2024. He was then hired by Mansfield in 2027, got relegated, got sacked because they were relegated, then walked into Solihull Moors and was sacked there for losing the dressing room. Surely after that, his reputation has fallen. You have to believe. Oh, my word, his reputation has fallen. So he's gone from being like an 8,500 reputation manager down to 3,500. Dewey's done. I don't think Dewey gets another job now. So you don't need to perform badly for too long for your reputation to be absolutely destroyed. 2 sackings, and he's going to struggle to ever find work. Does that mean the other 2 have had secret jobs as well? Have we got secret jobs in here? Huey? No. Nothing for Huey. And Louis? No. So Dewey's still getting work because his reputation was higher. However, I would expect at this point his reputation is lower than the other 2. Yeah, Louis now has a better reputation than Dewey. And then Huey, can't even remember how you spell Huey. Huey, Wonder Kid. Huey, that's a U. Of course it's a U. Huey now he's got the lowest reputation of the 3, but has still got that perfect ability, but it counts for nothing because no one's going to give him a job. They need to do like a twin magic. Dewey can get the job with his reputation that's still a little bit inflated. Then they should swap over and let Huey actually do the job. I still don't understand why he left Peterborough Sports. It is baffling. He was doing well and just stopped. Right, we're now into 2030 and now Louis has another job. He's actually currently employed. So he's previously failed at Peterborough and Colchester. After 3 years out of football, he has now made it to Walsall. Walsall, a League Two team. A League Two team who alphabetically don't do very well in the league, do they? But last season, Walsall finished mid-table in League Two. So Louis dropping off a little bit compared to where you'd maybe expect him to be with his ability, but he did only join in December and so far hasn't been sacked. Louis is an active manager in the summer, which is a little bit of a novelty for our boys. Huey still hasn't found a job anywhere, and I think we can probably stop checking in on Dewey now because I just don't expect him to. I think his reputation is probably absolute dirt. Despite him being almost as good a manager as Louis now, Louis has now got the highest reputation of the 3. So certainly getting jobs seems to be all about reputation. Huey, it doesn't matter how good he is, that low reputation that he started with, he just can't get a job. He shouldn't have left Peterborough Sports. He's an idiot. I kind of want to force him into a job. I don't know how to force him into a job. Turns out I can't force him into a job. He's just quit. He's done. Huey is the first to retire. I just don't understand why he walked out on Peterborough Sports. Louis didn't last very long at Walsall either. Sacked following a series of bad results. Oh my word, they're all awful. Dewey never got another job. Let's go. We're going to go 5 more years, and then we might have to come up with a plan B for this video. Yeah, we've gone 5 years and they're not in here at all. So they've now all retired. I'm going back a couple of years. This hasn't gone well. Yeah, I've gone back a couple of years. Neither of them ever got another job. Well, that was pathetic. So what we've learned there is reputation or ability on their own count for nothing. You need a decent combination of both. And as Louis demonstrated, it needs to be better than like average. We need to do full on perfect to everything and see how perfect to everything gets on. And if you want to see that video, make sure you leave a thumbs up on this one and let me know down in the comments any tips that you might have for forcing them into having a proper career, because this isn't the outcome I expected from this. I tried a couple of other simulations as well with various other combinations. I had one guy who managed a couple of years at Man United and then got sacked and retired. I had another guy who I started at Tamworth who ended up staying there for 15 years and then he left and retired. No matter what combination of reputation and ability I give, I can't seem to get anybody to have a good career. I really am starting to feel like it's pretty random. There's a lot of random, a lot of luck that goes into whether or not the AI managers succeed, which worries me. It really, really worries me. I really want to be able to scientifically prove that reputation or ability or some hidden attribute somewhere is the key, because if there isn't a key, then what are we all doing here? If you enjoyed the video, subscribe, leave a thumbs up. Let me know. I need to go and have a lie down. Let me know down in the comments what I can do to try and make these careers work. Tell me my entire life isn't just random.